The night was supposed to be simple, just a quick stop for gas before heading home. But for Emily Carter, a single mother of two, it became a moment she'd remember for the rest of her life. Because in the dim lights of that small-town gas station, three men decided she looked like an easy target. A tired mom. Alone. No one around. Their shadows grew closer as she filled her tank. One of them laughed, a cold, sharp sound that made her heart drop. Another circled her car, eyeing her two sleeping kids through the window. And then the tallest one stepped toward her with a smirk that said he knew she had nowhere to run. Emily froze, clutching the gas pump and shaking hands. She tried to stay calm, but she knew she was in trouble. She whispered to herself, "Please, not tonight." But just when the men closed in, just when danger felt seconds away, the thunder of engines rolled through the station. Loud. Deep. Powerful. And before the thugs realized what was happening, they were surrounded. Before we jump into this incredible true inspired story, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment to support the channel. You're watching True Story Tales, where real-life inspired stories remind us that kindness still wins in this world. Now, let's begin. Emily Carter had always been strong. She had to be. Raising two kids alone while juggling long shifts at the diner wasn't easy, but she did it with a quiet determination that people admired. Still, even the strongest people have nights when life feels heavy, and this particular evening had drained her completely. She had worked a double shift because another waitress called in sick. Her feet hurt, her back ached, and all she wanted was to get home, tuck her kids in bed, and maybe sit in silence for 5 minutes. But first, she needed gas. Her tank was practically running on fumes. The gas station she pulled into was one of those old, quiet ones off the highway. Half the lights flickered. No other cars in sight. Emily didn't love stopping there at night, but she didn't have much choice. She parked beside the pump, looked back at her kids sleeping in the back seat, and forced a smile. "Almost home, sweethearts," she whispered. But as she stepped out and started pumping gas, a group of men emerged from behind the convenience store. They looked like they'd been drinking, loud, sloppy, unpredictable. Emily felt her chest tighten. She kept her eyes down, hoping they'd ignore her. They didn't. The tallest one called out, "Hey sweetheart, you alone tonight?" Emily didn't answer. Another whistled. "Got yourself some cute kids, too. Shame if anything happened." Her heart slammed painfully in her chest. She reached for her phone, but another man chuckled, "Don't bother, honey. Reception's trash out here." She forced herself to speak. "Please, just leave us alone." The tallest one stepped closer. Too close. "Come on now. We're just being friendly." Emily knew it wasn't friendliness. She knew exactly what danger felt like. And this was it. Then came the sound that changed everything. A low rumble. Then another. And another. The men paused, confused. Out of the darkness, headlights appeared. Not one. Not two. But a whole line of motorcycles pulling into the station. Thick tires. Chrome shining. Leather jackets. Heavy boots. A biker pack, big, intimidating, and impossible to ignore. The thugs froze. Emily didn't know who these bikers were, but she knew one thing: their presence shifted the entire atmosphere. The loud engines drowned out the laughter of the men who'd been harassing her seconds earlier. The bikers parked in a wide semicircle, forming a wall between Emily and the thugs. Their leader, a broad-shouldered man with gray in his beard, swung off his motorcycle and walked directly toward Emily. "You all right, ma'am?" he asked gently. Emily swallowed hard and nodded. They were bothering me." She didn't have to say more. The leader turned around slowly, staring down the three men with a calmness that was far more intimidating than anger. One by one, the other bikers stepped forward, creating a ring of protection around Emily and her kids. The tallest thug tried to sound tough. "We weren't doing nothing." The leader raised an eyebrow. "Then you shouldn't mind leaving. Now." There was no yelling. No threats. No weapons. Just a quiet authority that said these bikers weren't the kind of people you wanted to test. The men muttered under their breath, but one look at the circle of leather-clad giants convinced them to back off. They slowly shuffled away, disappearing into the night. Emily let out a shaky breath she didn't realize she'd been holding. Her hands still trembled as she finished pumping gas. "Thank you," she whispered. The leader gave a soft smile. "Don't thank us. We just look out for folks." Another biker, a woman with long braids flowing beneath her helmet, stepped closer. "Are your kids okay? They didn't wake up, did they?" Emily shook her head. "No, they're still asleep." "Thank God." The woman smiled. "Good. Let's get you home safe." Emily blinked in surprise. You don't have to do that." The leader nodded. "We're heading that way anyway. We'll ride behind you. Make sure nobody bothers you." Emily didn't know why these strangers cared. She didn't know who they were. But in that moment, surrounded by people who stepped in without being asked, she felt something she hadn't felt in a long time: safe. She got into her car, started the engine, and checked her mirror. The line of motorcycles lit up behind her, engines growling like a protective shield. As she drove down the dark highway, the bikers stayed close, never leaving her rearview mirror. When she turned onto her street, they followed. When she pulled into her driveway, they parked along the curb. Emily stepped out of her car and faced them, overwhelmed. "I don't know how to thank you." The leader took off his gloves and smiled. "You don't need to. We all got moms. We all got families. Nobody messes with a mother on our watch." One of the younger bikers nodded. "Most folks think bikers are trouble. Truth is, we've seen enough darkness in our lives. So when we spot someone who needs help, we step up." Emily felt tears sting her eyes. "The world needs more people like you." The leader shrugged. "Nah. The world just needs more kindness. Tonight, it was our turn. Tomorrow, maybe it'll be yours." Before they left, the woman with braids pressed a small card into Emily's hand. It had their group's name on it, the Iron Guardians Motorcycle Club. "Call us if you ever need anything," she said. Emily held the card to her chest. "I will." The bikers started their engines again, filling the street with that same steady rumble that had saved her earlier. One by one, they waved and pulled away, disappearing into the night as quietly as they had arrived. Emily stood in her driveway long after they were gone, the cool night air brushing against her face. She looked at her sleeping kids in the back seat and whispered, "There are still good people in this world. There really are." Emily never forgot that night. And she never forgot what the Iron Guardians had taught her, that kindness doesn't always look soft or gentle. Sometimes it roars in on two wheels. Sometimes it stands between danger and the defenseless. And sometimes it reminds us that strangers can become protectors in the blink of an eye. In the days that followed, Emily found herself helping others more often, holding doors open, buying meals for struggling families at the diner, checking in on elderly neighbors. Not because she had to, but because kindness had been shown to her when she needed it most. And she wanted to pass it on. Like the biker leader said, kindness isn't about being heroic. It's about stepping up when it's your turn. And in a world that can feel dark and heavy, every act of kindness, big or small, shines brighter than we realize. So the next time you see someone who looks tired, scared, or alone, remember Emily's story. Remember the bikers who didn't hesitate. And remember that kindness, in all its forms, truly has the power to change lives.